The ear is pretty amazing. Like it can like tune into different things. Like you can feel a song emotionally, but you can also hear a song frequency wise. Like you can like hear the frequency as you develop your skills as like an engineer. You start to like hear music differently, and you're like you can hone in on the frequencies. Oh, it's kind of strong around 10K or 100 hertz or something like that, or the mid range is so nice. I can listen to this as an engineer or as like a music theory student or like as a guitarist or as a music lover. There's like different ways to tap into an audiophile.
Welcome to the Passing Through Podcast, a show dedicated to exploring those spaces not just within, but also between and around us. The cracks in the walls, the moments between the moments. I speak with thinkers, authors, artists, teachers, and everyday humans who have touched the edge of the ordinary and found something to bring back. Hello and welcome. This is a special introduction for a few reasons. One is, as you may have already heard, I'm coming to you live from Asha's mom's kitchen. Asha is floating around, peeling, cutting, chopping, dicing, slicing, washing. She's being quiet now. She's wearing just her underwear as she's doing this. And I think she farted because I smell something that's kind of... I'm just kidding. Anyway, I am in the kitchen and she is doing those things, but let's focus on the episode here. This is a special episode as well because I'm joined by someone whose life is steeped in sound. And not just the sound of peeling potatoes or chopping them. And she isn't peeling potatoes, she's peeling apples, which, because the skin is off, looked like potatoes when I just glanced over. So hence my confusion. But I'm not joined by a chef in this episode. I am joined by musician and creative Dan Barracuda. Dan is a passionate musician with a gift for peeling back the layers of apples. Joke was terrible. Peeling back the layers of music we thought we knew, offering illuminating breakdowns of classic songs that reveal their hidden textures and timeless beauty. He brings both heart and craft to his work, reminding us that music is not just entertainment, but a living language that speaks across generations. Together, we'll step into that space where music becomes more than melody, where it becomes banging and clashing and doors slamming in the kitchen and apples being grated into a metal grater. We're going into experimental sound territory. In our conversation, we're going to discuss all kinds of music. We're going to talk about the Beach Boys. We're going to talk Good Vibrations. We're going to talk about Time by Pink Floyd. We're going to talk about Enter Sandman, Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love, Spanish Boots of Leather by Bob Dylan, The Beatles, My Bloody Valentine, Radiohead, and more. This was a lovely conversation for me. It was rare to sit down with someone like Dan, who's so passionate about music and so articulate. He speaks and breathes music. During our conversation, he's even going to grace us with a live performance. So, do you feel that texture? So clean the gunk out of your ears, get your Q-tips, get the wax out, wax on, wax off, put in some nice headphones, buckle up, and get ready to journey into sound with Dan Barracuda. All the links you'll need to find Dan will be in the show notes. As always, be good to one another. and I will talk to you next time. Okay, so Dan Barracuda, welcome to the Passing Through podcast. It is an honor to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me, Danny. We got the same name.
Yeah, and I think we have the same passion for music. So I'm really excited to have you here because anytime I see your content come up, I'm always taken back by the care and the attention and the passion and the tunes and everything that you put into what you do. So thank you for that work because it's always a joy to see it.
Thank you, man. How long have you been watching it? And like, what was the first one? I'm always curious, what was the first video you saw?
I don't know what the first one was, but the one that stands out the most, the one where I was like, and I was sharing it to everybody, was the Good Vibrations one.
Yeah.
That was the one after Brian Wilson passed. I was like, wow, this is so great. These breakdowns are so great.
Thank you, man. It was crazy timing because I had just posted the Mojo pin by Jeff Buckley on that day. And then I was about to go for a walk. There's a cemetery nearby that I love to walk around. It's kind of like a loophole in New York because like no one goes to cemeteries, but it's like they're beautiful and I love to walk around there. And I don't know if you know, it's the Evergreen near Highland Park. It's in Queens.
Okay.
It's like right by Ridgewood. So I went on Reddit just on my phone and I saw that Brian Wilson had just passed and I was like, no way, that's wild. I'm not going on this walk right now. So then I went to, I had made that video for TikTok like 3 months before. And it was longer. It was like 4 minutes and you can only post up to 3 minutes on Instagram. So I took it back from my hard drive and I re-edited it down to 3 minutes. And then I posted on I had never posted on Instagram before, that video. So, and I just couldn't believe it, man. It got like 1 million views in like a day and a half. And I was like, whoa. So that was a crazy time. Like Alec Baldwin followed me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like so weird. And yeah, it was just, I never had a video like go viral in that way, like that fast. And it was just crazy. Every time you look at your phone, you got like 100 comments. Like it was weird. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what that's like. So maybe you could even speak a bit about that. I've never had something go so viral where it's just like, whoa. Did you have a sense that this was maybe more thorough or there was something about this one that was different than the other stuff?
It was just the timing. It was the timing. It was because he had just passed. A lot of people found out that he passed through my video because I asked when I re-edited it, I added a R.I.P. Brian Wilson like in the beginning of the video. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So
it's kind of like that. But the whole reason why these breakdowns started, it was all this year. And it kind of started from like a semi-viral video. It was at the end of January. I've been posting on TikTok and Instagram for a few years now, but it's always been guitar videos and just not me talking to the camera. No way. I didn't want to do that. It was just me playing like a solo or something like that. And then I had like a guitar lesson once. I was giving a guitar lesson remotely and then we were doing Enter Sandman. And then after the lesson, I like realized something cool about the song. And then I just pulled my phone out and I was like, hey, so Enter Sandman's really cool because it's like waking up this beast. Like it's like and he's talking about this in the lyrics and like the song is like entering, it's like building up. It starts with the riff and the riff like gets heavier and heavier and they're like, it's like taking shape. And then when it finally explodes, it's like this really cool thing. And I posted on TikTok and that one did not go viral or anything, but it had a lot of comments that'd be like, yo, that's really cool. I like your perspective on music. So that was cool. And then I didn't think too much of it, and then I did like a Taylor Swift song. I was like, Shake It Off is really cool because it starts on the 2 chord, which is kind of rare for a pop song. And so that's really cool. And then I did a Bad Bunny one. I don't know much about Bad Bunny, but he had just released an album like in the beginning of January and it was all over TikTok. So the melody caught my ear. So I made a quick video being like, so this Bad Bunny released a song and like the melody is really pretty. Like this is what he's doing. I had my classical guitar and I was like playing what he's doing. He's like, it's just 2 chords, but he's like outlining the major chord in a really nice way with his vocal. And the next day I had like 100K views and I was like, all right, that's interesting. I should do this to more songs that I really actually love. So then I did Schism by Tool.
Nice.
And that's like what really happened. So I literally just set my phone behind me, and I was like, all right, here's the brilliance. And this is the first time I said brilliant. I was like, this is the brilliance of Schism by Tool. Like, he's talking about a division between like two people or like two entities, and musically there's a division going on. Like we're in D minor or we're in A minor, and they treat it like two separate keys, and it's so cool. And I'm like just being myself. And the next day I had like 12K, but like it just kept rising, and then it went up to like, now it has like 700K, but it's been like 8 months. But like in like a week or something, it had like 500K, and I was like, all right. And I posted like every single day since then on TikTok, and then I started moving it over to Instagram. So yeah, this has all been this year.
Awesome. I mean, I didn't know that it was so recent, because I assume that like you had your journey with music, and I mean, obviously it did. Your journey with music must have began years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah, I'm 35. And I started playing guitar when I was 13. So I've been playing guitar for 22 years. I never took a break or anything, you know. I took music theory classes in high school, like two, like music theory regular, and then I think music theory honors. I might have taken AP music theory, which is like just like the most advanced class I had in the public high school. I went to Central Mass, Westboro High School, and my brother is very musical. He's a year older than me, and he's a trombone player and a drummer and a great singer, and he loved singing harmonies over songs, and I kind of learned through osmosis through him. But I didn't go to school for college. I went to school for marketing and psychology at UMass Amherst. But yeah, I was like addicted to writing music and writing riffs. I had this riff library, like 3,000 riffs, all living on my voice memos and GarageBand and stuff. And I've released a lot of my own music. You know, I've released like 5 albums and like 40 singles and 315 like Spanish guitar pieces on Spotify. So I've released a lot of music, and I realized early on that if I wanted to make a living in music, I better start wearing more hats. You know, I gotta learn video production and editing and producing, recording, mixing, mastering. So then I started building my portfolio like in my mid-20s, like mixing people for free. And I just been doing that. It's been nonstop music.
Yeah, because when I listen to the stuff that you put out, it's like you can speak in music. It's like your vernacular is music. And it comes out of you. I'm surprised to hear that you only took a little bit of music theory. I thought for sure you were like just studying music all the way through university.
Yeah, I was in a duo with my good friend Ian. We played for like 10 years just playing gigs in Boston, you know, and we worked at an enrichment center for children in like Central Mass area called Kidville. And I was the music director of the place, and every week I got to decide what songs we were gonna play that week. And it wasn't just kids songs. Like we would do rock week, blues, 60s, 70s, 80s, TV show theme songs, like one hit wonders. And in the weekends we were playing gigs. So we were kind of killing two birds with one stone. We were like learning new songs for the kid classes. And then that weekend we would add that to our repertoire. So I had like accumulated an iPad list of over 1,000 songs. And so I think not having formal music theory training, but just learning so many great songs, like not just pop songs from today, but like 60s, 50s, like Everly Brothers, Beatles, Beach Boys, Elton John, Billy Joel, Fleetwood Mac, just great songs, and just learning them and playing them all the time. And then writing my own music. It's just a combination of just always doing it, being surrounded by like seeing what all the greats are doing, and just be, oh, they're always going to this chord. I'm always seeing this chord. What is the deal? How come every time a band is jamming at a concert and it feels so epic, it's always that chord? and then I'm like, I don't know. I kind of developed my own perspective of this whole thing, and yeah. And then I don't script anything when I make my videos, you know, so I just kind of go, and I have to love the song, you know what I mean? I have to love the song, and then I just hit record, and you know, I've gotten better at editing, so I, you know, get rid of a lot of ums and stuff, but like but yeah, so that's that.
Cool. Yeah, and it's obvious when watching your stuff that you love it, that the songs you love, your passion is there. It's I think that's the most striking thing, because it's resonant. Like for someone else who loves music, to see someone loving music and being electrified by it, you're kind of humming. It's amazing to see. And I guess the thing I want to dig into is like a little more personal stuff. So like, when did you have that moment? Probably like everybody has that moment who loves music, where it's like your oldest music memory that you can remember, where you go back and there was something that kind of electrified you, or you were like, wow, I've never heard music like this before. Or there's these kind of like seminal formative moments for you. Can you identify a couple early ones?
Well, yeah, the very early ones. Well, I grew up, my dad, my parents love, my mom and my dad both love, they have great taste in music. They love Pink Floyd. My mom has seen Zeppelin 4 times. My dad loves Supertramp, Genesis, Phil Collins, Queen, Fleetwood Mac. And I always kind of grew up with that around the house, but it wasn't until college. Oh, so in high school I got into, oh man, I don't even know where to begin. But yeah, I guess I started playing guitar when I was 13, but somewhere around 12, was when like the illegal downloading of music was happening, like Kazaa, LimeWire. I didn't have Napster, but I had like LimeWire and Kazaa. And I remember I heard like Nelly, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. I like, number 1, 2 is not a winner, number 3, nobody remember. That song was awesome. And then Country Grammar and things like that, and Eminem. But then I remember I stumbled upon Metallica, and it was like Enter Sandman and Devil's Dance. Maybe sad but true. And I remember just being like, what is this? And then shortly after, I downloaded more Metallica. So I was listening to more Metallica around that time.
Lars is not going to be happy to hear this.
No, he wasn't. No, he's not. I love Lars, by the way. I love Lars. My friend Dave Voshin, he was my next door neighbor growing up in Central Mass in Westboro. He had a birthday party. He was turning 13, I believe. And he was, because he's born on January 3rd and I'm July 7th. And he had his friend Tom Wolfe come over, and he had the Zakk Wylde Bullseye guitar, and he was playing guitar like right in front of me. I had never seen someone play electric guitar right in front of me. And he played like Enter Sandman. I think he was like learning Stairway. And then we watched like a Led Zeppelin like Song Remains the Same, or some live concert. And I remember that I was like, wow, like I want to play guitar. And so I begged my parents for one when I was 13, and then I got one. And then that's when I started playing, and I just played so much. Like, Dave showed me Come As You Are, Smoke on the Water. And then I just really quickly wanted to get to learning Metallica stuff. So I was like, made it my mission to learn like the Fade to Black solo and the riffs and, Creeping Death. So exciting. I was so into it. I want to learn every Metallica lick and, riff and solo. And then I was really into heavy music. My brother got me into Tool. That's like, Tool was like next level for me. And then I went to college. So that all happened like freshman year, 8th grade, freshman year in high school, and then 10th grade. And then I was in a band with my brother. But then it wasn't until college that my friend George Egan showed me the Beatles. But like, not like I Want to Hold Your Hand Beatles. Like I was like, oh, I know that. I know that song. But he showed me like A Day in the Life, Happiness is a Warm Gun, like just more like psychedelic Beatles stuff, Lucy in the Sky. And I remember being like, that's a Beatles song? That's a Beatles song? Like Eleanor Rigby, oh, that's Beatles? And I was like heavy into the Beatles in college. And that's when I really loved songwriting past riffs, like more like lyrics and melody and chords, harmony. So that's like that. That's my upbringing there.
Okay. Cool. Thanks for the context. It reminds me too of my introduction to music. I also started playing guitar when I was 13, but I did not play consistently. So I'm like a stunted musician where I never really evolved much. But I remember learning Stairway. I remember those things. Like, I guess that's what everybody does who starts to learn guitar and at that age. I remember learning, what was it? Nothing Else Matters.
Oh my God,
just like
yeah.
all open. You're just like, oh, look, I'm playing Nothing Else Matters. It's just all open strings.
I love that. I heard that he was in a phone with I don't know if it's true, but James Hetfield was like on the phone with his girlfriend, and he just had his guitar with him. And, his one hand was on the phone, but the other hand, and he just went boom, 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 boom. And that's how he came up. I hope it's true. It's a cool story.
Yeah. Actually, that's a question I had for you. Do you have any musical stories that like that, where you're like, wow, some kind of like knowledge about something that, I feel like I used to know cool stories about music and they have just turned to dust. They've evaporated. I don't know any off the top of my head.
I get really into bands. I know a lot about Metallica. I know a lot about Tool. I know a lot about the Beatles. I know a lot about the Beatles. I mean, I'm not a trivia head. One time my family had a Beatles trivia game and I was like, what is this? I don't know Ringo's like mother's middle name. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. Yeah. Fleetwood Mac. I read Stevie Nicks' book. Well, it's not, she didn't write it, but it's a biography on her. McCartney. I have Jimmy Page. I have like a Bowie book over here. I don't know. Like what do you mean? Like anything specific? I've been to a lot of concerts. Like I saw McCartney live, Metallica. I've seen all these bands live. Radiohead 4 times or 3 times. And I love going to concerts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you remember your first concert? We could abandon the musical stories stuff. It's like do you remember VH1 storytellers?
Oh my
where you
God.
have somebody come out and they're going to play a song and tell you a story about their song. I'm trying to create some storytellers vibe here, and it's like we could just abandon that and go to. What was your first concert?
My first concert was when I was 3 years old. My parents snuck us in, but they. I don't know if I should say this out loud, but the story has it was that they snuck whiskey through our baby bottles. They brought my brother and I to see Genesis with like 8 of their friends in like Florida. So Genesis, I was 3 years old when I saw Genesis apparently. But later in life, I saw A Perfect Circle and System of a Down and Mars Volta. That was really exciting. And my dad took me to see Metallica, like I think 2004. Like, right, it was like perfect timing. I was like super into them, and I'll never forget that, seeing like Kirk Hammett play the Master Puppet solo and just everything. It was the power of it all, And then I started seeing Tool live, and A Perfect Circle was amazing. Mars Volta was a really great band to get into too.
Yeah, I remember that whole era of music, System of a Down, Mars Volta. I remember when Tool and A Perfect Circle Tool was always big, but when A Perfect Circle was doing their thing, and like then Pucifer came out too, right?
Yep.
I haven't followed.
Love that. The first album is amazing. I love Mama Said, Queen Bee. The first album of Pucifer is so great, and I've seen them live a couple times too. I'm a huge Maynard fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to, especially when he was on Passenger with Deftones. That was one of our favorites. We would just crank the volume as loud as we could when we were taking the car out at night as teenagers.
Insane. His voice is crazy. Rev 2220. That's like near the end of the first album, I think. It's just Maynard is so great. I love great voices. Jeff Buckley, Robert Plant. Oh my God. I listen to isolated vocals, man. Go to YouTube and type in "Gimme Shelter" isolated vocals and listen to Mary Clayton. That's my number one isolated vocal.
Okay,
it's crazy. When she goes, her voice sounds like she's like struck by lightning. Even like Smells Like Teen Spirit, like the isolated vocal, like he just sounds incredible.
I'm gonna have to dig. I haven't ventured into that world yet, so I'm excited to do that after we wrap up here.
Ramble on. Listen to Ramble On isolated vocal. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah, Zeppelin. I remember that was for me one of the bands. Like there were certain bands, certain albums in my life that I remember hearing, and it was almost like before and after, where there was music before I heard this album and music was forever changed. And when I would listen to it, it just wasn't the same. My understanding had shifted. My tastes had shifted. And I remember hearing Zeppelin for the first time and just this bluesy, wailing voice that was like something between man and woman. It was so animal.
Yes.
And, Zeppelin could just... super formative, super influential, I remember the first time going to California and just the so gentle and so like feathery, the music for that one.
I love like all the great bands. They're like pillars, like Led Zeppelin, for example. I just picture pillars. Like you got like one of the greatest rock vocalists of all time, with one of the greatest drummers, obviously. Yeah, I was gonna get to Bonham later. I was gonna save him for the end, but yeah, Bonham is like the greatest rock drummer ever. And then you got John Paul Jones, like one of the greatest rock composers and just bassists. It's so creative with not just bass work, but like he's using recorders on Stairway to Heaven and just his keys work and mandolin. Is he playing mandolin on Going to California, I think?
Yeah, I think you're right. That sounds correct.
I think. And then you got Jimmy Page, who like assembled Led Zeppelin, and he's this unbelievable riff writer and just songwriter and producer. He produced Zeppelin.
Really?
Yeah. Like Eddie Kramer helped a lot, engineered, and maybe he had a hand in the producing, but Jimmy Page was like the overseer of Led Zeppelin. He assembled Led Zeppelin, like John Lennon assembled the Beatles, And so Led Zeppelin is just 4 pillars. It's like just 4 unbelievable musicians. And then if you get them in a room together and if they gel well, they vibe well, friendship wise, but musically, I think it's just going to work out. Something's going to come of it.
There's Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You. And there's one, the name is eluding me right now. It's been so long since I've listened to Zeppelin. It's that really, I Want to Be Your Backdoor Man.
Whole Lot of Love.
Yes, Whole Lot of Love. Almost every Zeppelin song, it's hard to find a bad one.
Yeah. And I love digging deeper into their catalog. Like when I actually discovered No Quarter through Tool's cover. Tool rarely does a cover, but they did No Quarter. And then I didn't know it was a cover the first time I heard it, but then I loved the original. Yeah, I love like deep cut Zeppelin stuff. Friends, In the Light, I love the Rain song. Yeah, I can talk about Zeppelin forever. I really love. There's certain bands that I just love. And when it comes to the breakdowns, like I gotta love the song.
And I guess we could move off from Zeppelin because, like you said, we could just dig into there forever.
Right.
Like to go to music in general. Like I was recently in Portugal. I just got back to Poland a few days ago. And while I was there, we were in some meditation session.
Nice.
And something came to me about music where the instructor was telling us about how we're all these unique energies and we have these frequencies and they vibrate and they come together and they blend. And I was like, yeah, that's like music. That's what's happening in music. Yeah. You have each instrument, which is kind of the same at the end of the day, right? They just produce energy. They produce a frequency vibration. But somehow these distinct little parts come together and each contribute their little unique gift. Mm-hmm. A tambourine sounds different than a drum, sounds different than a trombone, sounds different than a bass. And they come together and they add their part, and you have something transcendent that happens, something that is greater than the whole, something that almost defies articulation. I mean, you are a wizard at articulating music, but for you, like when you talk about music in this way, like this collective experience of us coming together and pulling things in, like these sounds coming through us, vibrating our eardrums in our bodies, like they're actually touching us. Like it's this really interesting thing that happens. These frequencies come together and they actually pass through us and they change us. Like live music you were talking about before. Anyone who's ever been at live music, you can feel this energetic presence. It's almost you're in like group possession. Yeah, like everybody comes together and you are in thrall to the music maker. Like this phenomenon I'm interested in digging into. Like, is this something you think about ever, or am I just going in the weeds?
It's literally physical. Like you can't see it, can't see music, but it's like it's vibrations and it's like literally hitting you. And music's always better loud. And live music is usually loud. When you go to a concert, it's super loud. I remember it must have been like the 5th time I saw Tool. It was in Boston Calling at a festival, and like I couldn't believe I was like gonna see them from the 3rd row. We waited like an hour and a half, and There's only certain bands that I won't wear earplugs for, because I usually wear earplugs nowadays because I got to preserve my ears because I'm an engineer and I mix and I produce. So I can't have my ears. Anytime I'm like in a rehearsal studio, I wear earplugs, you know, or I go to like a show, like a local band show. I have to wear earplugs. But there's certain bands that I don't. I take them off, and it's like Tool and Metallica and like Paul McCartney, and it's that visceral feeling of it just hitting you. I don't want to duck the low frequencies or like the mid frequencies with my earplugs. I got to hear the whole thing, you know? And my ears were ringing for like 2 or 3 days after I saw Tool from the third row. So incredibly loud, but I got to let that just all up, you know, just really hit me. It's physical, man. And you feel it, and the bass is like rumbling your chest, you know, and your heart. I love live music, man. It's like you said, it's just so physical.
Speaking of heart, you just triggered a memory. Like for me, I can pinpoint, I don't know if it's the same for you. I can pinpoint certain songs, certain artists, certain albums to periods of my life. Like I remember being in deep heartbreak and listening to Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks.
Oh, wow.
And being like just heartbroken and like feeling into his heartbreak. And we were in this resonant kind of musical vibration. Do you have a sense of this aspect where like there are certain songs or certain albums that you associate with certain moments in your life?
Oh, nothing's coming to mind. I feel like there's so many. Like nothing's really coming to mind right now. Mama Said by Pussifer, like when he says changes come, like that, you know, when I graduated college, like when I graduated high school going into college, like just pivotal moments, moving, changes come, life will have its way with your pride, son, you know, take it like a man, you know, I love that. I don't know, anytime Gilmore plays guitar. He's my number one, you know. Time. I'm always like crying when I hear Time.
Yes.
Like, oh my God. I saw Gilmore in November last year. Wow. November 5th at Madison Square Garden. My first time ever seeing him live. I saw Roger Waters a couple times, but you know, it's just so incredible seeing him play Time and Comfortably Numb, and Great Gig in the Sky was amazing. I can just trail off, man.
I mean, those are all classics. I have vivid memories. Like what I mean, I guess to root into where you're going now. What I mean is like I can remember being, I don't know, late junior high school, early high school, like with a fake ID, going and buying a bunch of beers for our friends and going up to our friend's attic. And he had like one of these dimmer lights and a good set of speakers. And I would put on Shine On You Crazy Diamond, like the full Shine On You Crazy Diamond, and be like giving a light show to everybody who's smoking pot and we're drunk and everyone's just mesmerized by this like bootleg light show that I'm doing up in there, you know?
Yeah.
And just Gilmore's guitar and just the gravity of Pink Floyd just washing over us. And I'll never forget those memories. Like music is so embedded in these moments when I was a kid, like just, you know, and people remember it. I asked, do you guys remember like being up in our friend's attic? And they're like, yeah, of course. Like, so yeah, Pink Floyd is one of these bands for me that has this really
me
deep
too. It's such a ceremony, and I love sharing music with friends too. Like when people like love what you love, and that's why it's nice to have a band. It's great to be in a band where everyone, or at least most people, are like just, you know, shared musical interests. I feel like here in New York, I don't have many friends that like love Tool as much as I did when I lived in Boston, you know? It's like if I were to see, like when I saw Stevie Nicks, I just went by myself. But I saw Rage with a couple friends a few years ago at Madison Square Garden, and that was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Because, I mean, and Zach De La Rocha was sitting down because like his foot was broken, and I would still give them an A+. Because just the sheer power coming out of that man's voice and just everything. I'll never forget that, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Like, all the lights were just on at MSG, and it was so powerful. But yeah, it's like a ceremony, and I don't have a turntable right now, a vinyl player. Did you?
No. In the van, it's hard to... Actually, you know, even with that, when I wasn't in the van, I didn't have a turntable. I was always just using CDs, you know, blaspheming instead of going on vinyl.
Yeah.
It's nice if you have space if you have space to have a bunch of albums and records. But for me,
It does take up a lot of space, yeah.
yeah. I have friends though who have like libraries of music. Like you just go over their place and it is super ritualistic. You sit down, you have a drink, you smoke something, you hang out, and they just pull little hidden gems out from the bookcase. So yeah, that's what I like about music too. It's like these little moments in time. Like if you listen to something from like the 20s, it feels like it's from the 20s. If you're listening to like Motown from the 50s, it feels like you're transporting back into time. So I love that ability of music to really just vibrate a space into a different time. It can transport you.
And it was cool. It was cool getting more into recording and producing and seeing why it sounds like that and feels like that. You know, like the 60s has a different aesthetic than the 70s and then the 80s, you know. The 80s are, you got the reverbic snare or the reverberant. I got to stop saying reverbic. I've been saying reverbic my whole life. And then one guy commented, he's like, it's not reverbic, it's reverberant. And I was like, damn. I looked it up and I was like, damn. Reverbic is way cooler of a word. Reverberant, excuse me. The reverberant snare in the 80s. You know, Phil Collins kind of started that. But the 70s was more dry and it's more upfront, like Steely Dan, you know, more upfront. And then the 60s had, you know, you got like the Wall of Sound, Phil Spector, you know, his Wall of Sound and the Beach Boys sound and the Ronettes and yeah, it just has a different aesthetic. And then the 90s is like acoustic rock. There's a lot of acoustic going on, big strumming, like big melodies in the 90s, you know? And it's been really cool getting into production. It's made me like love music even more like intimately, I feel like, in my own way, you know. There's like, it's weird. The ear is pretty amazing. Like you like, it can like tune into different things. Like you can feel a song emotionally, but you can also hear a song frequency wise. Like you can like hear the as you develop your skills as like an engineer, you start to like hear music differently, and you're like you can hone in on the frequencies. Oh, it's kind of strong around 10K or 100 hertz or something like that, or the mid range is so nice, you know. That, and also music theory wise, like you can hone in on music like with a music theory kind of ear and like hearing the intervals and like, oh, like you feel it. And it's been cool to expand my knowledge and to hear when a song is on, I can hone in. I can listen to this as an engineer or as like a music theory student or like as a guitarist or as a music lover, you know. There's like different ways to tap into an audio file.
Yeah, I like that. That's an amazing point actually, because I watch videos sometimes of audio engineers or people who specialize in production and mastering and mixing, and they'll say things like this. To be like, yeah, do you hear this? For me, I struggle to hear it often, but I know that it's possible to develop that kind of intimacy with music, and that's just a whole nother level of connecting to it and feeling the vibration that I really admire.
Yeah, and it's totally not necessary. Like the music lover ear is the best one.
yeah, because it's more, I guess, somatic, right? It's just feeling it on an emotional level. It doesn't need to intellectualize it. It doesn't need to scan it for frequencies. It can just like let it in, it sounds like.
Yeah. And then there's lyrics. And that's another way of tapping into it, is the lyrics.
Yes.
You know?
I think that's maybe my favorite. Like there are songs that can just, you know, that are musically maybe very simple or not so interesting, but lyrically there's so much power in them and rawness and vulnerability and
what are you
pain.
Thinking of?
There's a song by Tom Waits called Martha.
Ooh.
That is like, I think it's on his first album. And it's basically the story of him calling up like an old love and some years later in their life, and they both moved on. And they're like, yeah, I got married too. How's your kids? And it's this like forlorn, melancholic feeling of like, oh, like time moved on, but we still have this love that we shared and this memory, but that's all that's left. It's just vapor. But like I have goosebumps thinking about it, because the way it happens in the song is so like pained. It's a very pained feeling.
Yeah, and you mentioned Dylan too. Like, you know, lyrics, man. They can really just like make you cry on their own. You know, It's amazing. And there's so many great lyricists out there. And I love seeing people's different styles.
Yeah, Dylan is up there. I mean, Dylan is he's one of those pillars. He's a legend. One that comes to mind from Dylan is, I mean, depending on my mood, many Dylan songs can get in there. But there's one, Boots of Spanish Leather, where he's like telling this story of some girl who's in Spain, one of his loves, and he's writing her letters. And she's like, don't worry about me. Like, and they're going back and forth. It's like, no, but I want to get you something. And like he's realizing in their exchange and their correspondence that she's moved on and she isn't coming back. And it's like this pained realization throughout the song. And yeah, that was a deep one when I first heard it. Again, like probably soon after a heartbreak or a breakup, and hearing something like that, and you're like, yeah, she's not coming back. I'm alone. And just letting it sink in.
That's the power. Like of a great songwriter has a perspective. They have a worldview. And that's like kind of what we're tapping into when we're hearing someone's lyrics, I think, Yeah. I love All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
Like I love how the first lyric is, there must be some kind of way out of here. Like, what? Like you're just like thrust into the scene. So well made.
It's funny you bring that up, because I was doing a lot of driving, and I was talking to my partner, and we were listening to music, and there were a few different songs we heard, and I was like, I'm hearing 3 like common themes in music. It's like, please stay, don't go. That's one theme. And it's like, I gotta go. Like there must be some way out of here. It's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Or like, should I stay or should I go? like so it's one of these 3 places, right?
That's so good. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm started thinking about Time. I'm thinking about the lyrics of Time by Pink Floyd, and I don't know where that falls into. I gotta go. I guess I gotta go. Yeah.
So man, Time. That's one of those songs that I can hear whenever, and it never wears off. Like the power and weight and gravity of those lyrics in that song are so chilling, so deep, so true, so like. Fuck, like if there are certain songs I would put on one of these golden discs and send out into space for aliens to find in future civilizations, Time would have to be on that for sure. I wouldn't let that not be on that album.
Yeah, exactly. And lyrically and just musically, and like that's another thing I love about like learning harmony and just chords, because like I'm thinking about the chords of Time right now, and there's just like they're just so nice. And it just does something really cool. Like I just want to take out my guitar and just do it, but like yeah, it's just awesome. The chords are just so nice. Like all right, here we go. All right, so we got like it starts on the minor 1, and then it goes to the relative major. It's just like hopeful. It like when you go from taking away, right, the moments that make up. So, and then I'm like happy right now, because we're here. I'm sad, but here I'm happy. But then back to the root. But then it hammers it on again. The sun is the same in a row. Right, and now I'm happy again. It's like the cycle of life. Yes. And this is leading us. Oh, it's like a circle. It's like the circle of life. Yeah. But then it goes like go to like the 6th chord. It's like so heavenly, and they're doing like major chords, and oh my god, dude. And then it was like 10 years ago. Sorry, no one told you where to run. You missed the starting gun, and then back to, and then the solo plays over both those progressions. So the solo itself is a song, because it's like kind of doing verse chorus in the solo. Like, and I love when guitar solos have multiple chord progressions under it. It's got like the A section, the B section under it. It makes the solo a lot more like a story and like a journey. Yeah. So yeah, you just got me going on Time, man.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you just did that. That's amazing. It's the first time on the podcast someone has played guitar and sang. So this is a very beautiful episode for me.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm sick. I would have like sang a lot more, but
Yeah, thank you. And I felt it. I felt what you were saying. Even when you were said the sun is the same, and you're like, it comes back. The sun is the same, and then
Yeah,
it's like the same. It's repeating
it's the same
again.
chord.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so awesome. And I love that about music, and I love that about learning more about what's going on in music. It makes
Yes.
me love it like just more. Like I said,
Yes.
it's not necessary, but like I love the shit out of that stuff.
Yeah, and that's what I love about your content so much. You're just like peeling back the onion. You're like let's go deeper. What else is in here? Did you see this? And it can be like mind blowing for people where they're like, whoa, like that's amazing. I didn't realize that's happening. So I think that understanding that you have, that gift that you bring here is like, it just enhances music so much. It's such a joy to see the stuff that you do. So I love that you're
Thanks.
doing that.
Yeah, it's been interesting because I had that video do well, that Tool video by Schism by Tool, and then I started just posting every day and just making so many videos, and then it was interesting to see what did well, what doesn't do well, and then I started. It's hard to, when I'm like in the trenches of making these videos, I kind of like, it's hard to like zoom out and be like, all right, what are people actually taking away from this? And I feel like some of my videos get like too technical, and then I'm like, who am I speaking to here? What are these videos for? Are they for music theory enthusiasts? Are they for guitarists? I don't know. And then I started zooming. I'm trying to zoom out more with my content and be like, instead of being like, this song's so cool because it's in Mixolydian. How cool is that? But now I'll be like, so he's doing Mixolydian, which is like a cool type of major scale that sounds bluesy and like cooler than like a major scale, like, typically would. So I try to like zoom out a little bit because I want everybody, or as many people as I can, to like take something away from this video. I don't want to alienate someone and be like, oh, he's singing he's hitting the major seventh, and that's really cool. And now he's going to Mixolydian, like, so I'm trying to like rein it in.
Yeah. And that's a delicate balance. That's a tricky thing to do, to walk that line between how can it be educational and informative, but also soulful and poetic at the same time.
Right.
And I guess on a meta level, that's the phenomenon that you're describing when you're doing your breakdowns.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to, I'm like, well, it's because it's easy to go deep into nerdiness. Because sometimes a song, like a Jeff Buckley song, I'll be like, look, he's singing some crazy stuff here, like intervals and like the chords, he's so chords. But I'm like I earlier I said that I don't script my videos at all. But nowadays I do think about like what is like the main thing I do want to touch on, So and what's something like accessible or something like that. It's not always about saying what's brilliant about every song. It's what interesting thing about this song can I highlight the best, So that's like, I mean, I'm in the trenches with these. I'm making a lot, so because I'm getting a lot of traction. It's actually driven a lot of really good work. Like I got people coming up to me and like asking like produce and teach and, and so this has been, it was like around the end of May where I decided that I was going to go like full head on with this. If I wasn't already, but like, cause I told you I was like posting every day, but like, I mean like really like taking it more seriously and like upping my editing and everything. So yeah.
Yeah. But it sounds like it's a passion, and it's something that you would like, that could be just what you do. Like, it's like, I'm sure people who want to learn music theory, people who want to learn guitar, people who want someone to educate them, want someone who's passionate and informed and
Right.
like, and accessible as well. Like, and on an energetic level, there's something about your content that doesn't feel like just this soulless, I'm churning out content every day because I need to stay relevant.
Right. I've heard someone say that too. Yeah. Someone's like, you say things in like a less like this is content type of way or something.
Yeah. Like it comes from the heart. It's like, I love this stuff. Check this out. Like, and I think that's a vital, and it's rare. Like on social media, usually there's this element of it that feels kind of empty. But when, like you watch stuff, you're scrolling and you feel drained after. But when I see your stuff, it's usually energizing, where I'm like, oh, cool. I want to tell somebody about this.
Cool.
I want to share this.
That's awesome. I appreciate that a lot, man.
There was another question I wanted to go into, which was, do you have a favorite? I know these are maybe boring questions, but I'm still curious about them. Do you have like a sense of your desert island albums, or your desert island songs?
Um, my favorite song has like changed throughout the years. I feel like my first favorite song, maybe I don't know about before the age of 13, but for a long time in my teens, it was Master of Puppets.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was probably Comfortably Numb at some moment. And then for a long time, it was A Day in the Life by the Beatles. And then it started being tied with Happiness is a Warm Gun. And then for a long time, like in my 20s, it was Lateralis by Tool. And I wanted to save that breakdown for my birthday this year. So on July 7th, I released part 1 of my Lateralis breakdown. Just if you want to see me nerd out the absolute most, it's that video. I don't even watch my videos. I'm like kind of like I don't want to watch them. I'm like I don't know what I did there, but I watch them when I'm making them a lot, obviously because I'm editing them. But then once I post it, I kind of don't really watch it anymore. But yeah, Lateralis is my favorite for a while. Sometimes like a day, like I was super into The Reckoner by Radiohead for a hot moment there. That was like my favorite song for a while. Desert Island. My favorite albums are Lateralis by Tool. I love Sgt. Pepper's Revolver by the Beatles, Rubber Soul by the Beatles, Ride the Lightning by Metallica, Master of Puppets, you know. I love Anima. You know, like, my main like favorite bands. I mean, you could just sometimes I'm like, what are my favorite bands? And I just kind of look back to my old videos. Like I'd like look at the feed and like see, okay, all right. So like Beach Boys, Beatles, Fleetwood Mac, Metallica, Tool, Radiohead, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, you know, Mars Volta. I love System of a Down. I love Simon and Garfunkel. I haven't touched on them too much. I love Elton John, you know. I know I'm missing like a lot right now, but you know, as you probably have noticed, it's all kind of before the year like 2000. I love Incubus, A Perfect Circle, but I don't know. I'm kind of bad with like staying contemporary. But the two contemporary bands that I can think of that I do love are I love Currents and Inner Speaker by Tame Impala. And those two albums, and I love Alt J, especially the first album. Like An Awesome Wave is such a great album, but I'm pretty bad at like modern stuff, you know. Yeah. I think early Coldplay is amazing. Yeah, those are like all my favorite bands. How about you? Desert Island album or song?
It's too hard. I will try, but it's a tricky question. Like for sure, I need some Dylan. That's going to put me up between a hard choice. Which Dylan album do I choose? Is it Blood on the Tracks? Is it Blonde on Blonde? Is it Freewheelin'? Probably one of those. It would depend on my mood on the day, but there's got to be some Dylan. There's got to be some Van Morrison.
I love Van Morrison.
Yeah, like Astral Weeks. I remember the first time I heard that album. That was one of those before and after albums where I said, wow, like you can make an album like this? Fuck. So Astral Weeks, singer-songwriter, this kind of jamming, dreamy, drunken feel. Like Tom Waits has got to be on there as well for just his style of jazzy, bluesy, guttural, like deep in the throat.
Yeah,
he's just fun. And as an artist and a musician, he's just incredible. Fleetwood Mac as well, like Dreams, Rumors.
Love Rumors.
You know, Radiohead, I love Radiohead. I have some issues with Tom York as of late, but I remember In Rainbows, like when I first heard that album, my friend was working for a record company and a radio station, and he got like a pre-release version of In Rainbows. So it was before it came out, and he was like giddy because it was his favorite band. And he's like, dude, I have pre-release In Rainbows. Like we gotta listen to it. So we went into our friend's car, popped it in. We just like smoked a fat blunt, like somewhere in Queens. We're just sitting in the car, hotboxing the car, and listening to In Rainbows, like having our minds melted.
15
like my
step.
mind. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Like I remember that the album ended, and we were sitting there, and the album ended, and we're just looking at each other, and I'm like, play it again. And then we just went through the whole album a second time. Like so that one has a special place in my heart, and I think that would be on the list.
That's great.
Those are a few, but there's so many. Like I really like Funkadelic a lot, like funk and that style of music where it's just so groovy. I like Motown a lot. Like there's so many genres. Motown. Yeah, I struggle with that. And like, you know, what's sad for me lately is that I don't have a lot of time to listen to music anymore. So I often find myself feeling like estranged from a lover or something, where it's like I miss the embrace of a familiar sound wrapped around my ears.
You don't listen to like when you're like cruising?
A lot of times we spend time like volunteering on farms. So it's hard. Like I could pop in my headphones and I used to do that, but then I'd be like excluding the people around me.
Gotcha,
Sometimes
yeah.
I'll play it on my phone, but it sounds like shit because it's like
Yeah.
tinny, thin
Yes.
sounds. So yeah, I don't listen to it so much. When we're in the van, sometimes we'll put stuff in the like the CD player, and I'll put like one of my favorite bands of all time, I forgot to mention, is the Jesus and Mary Chain. Like shoegaze is a huge genre for
shoegaze.
me. Like when you were telling your story about the loudness of the music, I remember when I saw My Bloody Valentine for the first time, there were like warnings everywhere. It's like, put in your headphones. I mean, your earplugs. And I was like, come on, how loud could it be? And then people were like, no, you want to put these in, trust me. And it was so loud that even with the earphones in,
No way. Really?
earplugs in, like I was scared. Like I was like, this is scary loud. So like they would be on there too as far as live performances go. Radiohead, Tool, My Bloody Valentine. Those are some of the best musical performances I've ever seen. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to choose. It's like you ask me on a different day, I would say different things, probably you too. But it's fun to like get a little snapshot of where you are at this point in time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, as you were talking, I started remembering other artists as you started mentioning artists. Like I love Alice in Chains and Deftones and Jeff Buckley. I mean, Grace by Jeff Buckley is a big album for me. And now I'm blanking again on other bands. But I don't know My Bloody Valentine that well.
Oh yeah, I could send you some stuff there. I mean, shoegaze isn't for everybody. It's like that wall of sound kind of thing again, where everything is bleeding together. You know, there's not really great separation, I guess, but I like that about it. It's like this fuzzy, blankety kind of feeling to it.
Are the lyrics kind of hard to make out? Kind of like Radiohead.
Yes.
Sometimes the lyrics are hard to make out with Radiohead.
Exactly. It's like everything just a mess, a chaotic.
blur.
I mean, yeah, it's very blurry, which if you're in the mood for that, where it's like things are feeling indistinct and imprecise and you feel lost in your life at the time, that can be really comforting. Like I think I use music for comfort for a lot of my life.
Yeah.
Like what do I feel right now, and what music can translate what I'm feeling into sound.
Right. Exactly. It's so powerful. And yeah, it can trigger memories. Yeah. It's amazing. I feel like my whole days are filled with music. Every day is just filled with music. And I don't mean like I'm playing music through my speakers all the time, because I actually kind of don't really do that. I'm working on people's music a lot, and I love like, you know, working on people's music and like get to know it intimately. I love when I like mix a band's record and then I go see them live and I like know the songs like just as well as the band does, because I've just been like working on it. So I love when I like know like every word. Like I just know a band's music so intimately, like a local band. It's really cool. Yeah.
And what is it like being in New York for you? Like you've been there for a bit. Do you feel like you have access to more music and more stuff than you would otherwise, or?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, right? I feel like lately this year, mainly, maybe because I've been so busy with the videos and like work has picked up a lot. I am home a lot, and I love it. But you know, I've been here 5.5 years, and I've had a lot of friends with bands, and I had a band too, like 3 years ago. But I see my girlfriend on the weekends. You know, she's a dancer, so my weekends are really great, and I'm home just like working at home, and I love taking walks. And like I told you earlier, like I live in like a quiet area in Bushwick. You know, I'm in like the outskirts of like I'm like 25-minute train ride to Union Square, Manhattan. But it's like really quiet here, and I love the cemetery. It's just really nice and calm, and I can record a lot of acoustic music, which I feel like I wouldn't be able to do if I lived in Manhattan. I think I mentioned, I don't know if it was before this we were recording or not, but I mentioned that I've released over like 300 Spanish guitar pieces on Spotify amongst different of my profiles, and that could only be possible if it was like if I lived in a quiet area. You know, like this room is acoustically treated, but it's not soundproofed. So
Yeah.
if a car is like roaring by, like, you know, it's rare, but like, you know, beeping and stuff, like the mics would pick it up, but usually it's really quiet. especially in the morning or late at night, and I can record a lot of acoustic stuff here and vocals, which is really great. So I do love where I live. I also have a car. I still have a car here. I kept it from Massachusetts time, so it's nice to have that, and I see my family up in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I love having that mobility, and if I have gigs, I can easily take a gig because I can drive anywhere, like in the tri-state area or like Long Island or something. So I really like where things are at right now, and I do love Brooklyn. So New York is pretty awesome. I love longboarding down like the southern perimeter of Manhattan, going up the west side, being around Battery Park. I love to longboard. Yeah.
When you were talking about Spanish guitar, two things popped up. I'm curious about the band and what that was like for you, but also the Spanish guitar. There's a song, I'm going to butcher the name, something like Recuerdos de las Alhambra or something like this. Do you know this Spanish guitar song?
It sounds kind of familiar. Is it on a Spanish guitar playlist?
Probably. I don't know.
Sorry, like a Spotify one, like an official. I don't know. Where did you hear this?
I've heard it like a few times randomly, like on my journeys in certain places. Like I remember I was at an eco village in Poland, and randomly the chef was like cooking lunch, and suddenly he was playing the song, and I was like, "Is this?" I forget the first word, if it's Recuerdos or what it is, but de la Alhambra. And he's like, "It is," and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." I don't know where I know that song from, but it's a beautiful, like again, melancholic Spanish guitar song.
Paco de Lucia? He's like the goat of like flamenco guitar, and he passed away a few years ago. But he's like the best guitarist ever, like just really insane. And there's a recording of him with Al Di Meola and John McLaughlin, and it's called Mediterranean Sundance. And I believe it's Al Di Meola's song, but they're all playing it, and like they all trade off solos, and Paco de Lucia with his everyone else is like picking fast, but he's like using his two fingers, and it's like unbelievable technique. And I don't do that kind of stuff. The Spanish pieces that I've released are very like melodic and romantic and like calm and stuff. And I was kind of playing the whole Spotify playlist game. I was trying to hit all these playlists and stuff, and it was working for a good while. Yeah.
And then as we're nearing the end here,
this went by so fast.
I want to hear some stuff about your experience being in a band in New York and what that was like, because for a little while I was in one too, like very fucking unserious as kids, just friends playing in our garage, but it was so amazing. We never did a live show or anything, so I'm curious of your story to hear what that's been like for you.
It was very brief. I would say it was more notable back in Boston area. I co-created this group called the Pillowmen. And it was kind of like Blue Man Group on acid. It was like meets Pink Floyd or something. It was like rock, and we had like a dancer and an actor and a lighting show, and it was like, have you seen Blue Man Group?
I know who they are. I've seen like clips of them, but I've never seen them live. But I know that they are like little musical powerhouses doing funky, weird shit. Yeah,
and this was more like rock based, and helped write all the songs, and it was really great. It didn't work out in the end. Like our biggest accomplishment was that we like nearly sold out 2 back-to-back days at the Club Oberon, which is in Cambridge, and it's like 170 person capacity, and that was really awesome. And we worked with like the stage manager from the Blue Man Group, and we wore like devil masks. Like it was like full masks, and we were like wireless mics underneath our mask, and that was like such an undertaking. And ultimately, we just didn't have the funds to back up our vision, so we kind of like disintegrated. But it was like 3 years of hard work, and it was very, very special. And because when Ian and I made it, we wanted it to be more than just a band. We wanted to like create an experience. And it was cool. We busked. We like went like with our devil masks. So we had like black velvet onesies and like wireless mics, and we were like go out into like the Cambridge and Boston and like play at night, and like if people saw that, they'd be like, what is happening right now? And but yeah, I was in a lot of bands in high school, college. Yeah, I like being in bands for some reason, and this is weird, I don't really miss it. I feel like I've gotten a lot of original music out of me like I said, I've released like 5 albums and like 40 singles and like over 300 like Spanish guitar stuff, and I produce and stuff. I really love where I am right now. I love revisiting songs that I loved growing up, with these breakdowns, you know. And so for some reason, I don't really miss composing right now. I love just like jamming on my guitar, and I'll record a riff if I love it. But yeah, I feel like I've had my cup filled for a while as far as like original music output goes.
And you touched on another thing that we didn't cover, which is hugely important that we should say something about, is this other aspect of music, the performative aspect of music, because there are people who are incredible musicians and there are people who are incredible performers. Like you have someone like James Brown, the hardest working man in show business.
Yes.
You know, there's this other element of music that's performance, and it sounds like you enjoy that as well. Like this busking with the masks and being out there. There's this performative aspect that's important that is a part of music as well. It's like the nonverbal part of music.
Right.
Or not verbal isn't the right word, but non-sonic part of music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the visual part. Like, I mean, like, oh my God, Freddie Mercury, you know, just like great frontman. And, you know, it doesn't have to be like this whole experience, but like sometimes it's so entertaining just watching an awesome band. You know, even like Led Zeppelin, they were just a band that just jammed, but they just looked great while doing it, you know?
Yeah. Or the Stones as well. You see Mick Jagger with his swagger just all over the stage, and it adds something. Or even, do you remember Stone Temple Pilots?
Yeah.
Scott Weiland.
He was pretty wild too on stage.
Yeah, moving around like a snake, all weird and wild. So I think that's an important part of it. Or like Stevie Nicks, for instance, with Fleetwood Mac, just her presence on stage. These are important aspects of the music that often go unrecognized or overlooked or forgotten. So I think we should talk a little bit about that if you have a little bit more time to.
I mean, I love how Maynard, like with Tool, he's in the back. He's like right next to Danny on the drums, you know, and I've seen Tool 10 times. I've never seen a band more than I've seen Tool. So I haven't seen a band more than 10 times. My dad's friend has seen the Grateful Dead, he said, over 300 times.
Wow.
Which is just wild.
That's a lot of acid.
That's a lot of stuff right there. Yeah, so that's wild. I am much more into the studio stuff right now, and I have been for the last few years. I don't really miss playing live. Like I'll guest every now and then on like a band with a band or something. Yeah, I don't know. And when I work in that kids center at Kidville back in it was in Wellesley, Mass, in like my 20s. It was like a performance class. Like I was standing up with my guitar with a wireless mic, and I was with a band. It was like a show class. It's like a 45-minute. So I feel like I don't know how many classes I must have done. Like it feels like I've done like 2,000 classes or something. You know what I mean? Like, and it was at 9 a.m. and it was like singing and like. And then I was working on that and also gigging on the weekends, like I told you, at the bars. And we were working on the Pillowmen. So I was like performance. And now it's like studio. And I love the studio. I love just taking walks and like thinking about what I'm working, listening to what I'm working on in the car, my long drives home, or like going for a nice walk in the cemetery, or like by the reservoir, the Ridgewood Reservoir, listening to what I'm working on, like checking my mixes in like different, you know, environments. And, I love like the even keel. Maybe it's because I'm older. Maybe because I'm 35 and I'm not 25. Like, I love just like the studio life.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I can't believe how fast this went by.
Yeah. I was going to say, if there's something that you wanted to talk about where you're like, oh, fuck, I was hoping we had some time to talk about this, feel free. Like, I like to give time back at the end in case there was something you wanted to share or promote or a topic or anything. Like, so don't feel the pressure. You have some time if you want to use it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Nothing in particular. I don't know. I just like follow me, I guess. Dan Barracuda. Like, thanks for tuning in to my videos, and I appreciate anybody else that watches my stuff. You know, I just I love doing it. And the most annoying part, actually, you know what? I actually love doing it, but it is like, what's annoying is how much time it takes. But I do love doing it, is editing. You know what I mean? I love like recording. I love like, before I'm going to break down a song, I love internalizing it. Now I'm kind of more efficient about it. I made like a Spotify playlist with like 30, 40 songs, and I'm like internalizing. I listen to them, and if I'm not feeling it, I'll just skip to the next one, and then, oh, okay, Hell's Bells. Hell yeah. I love the riff in Hell's Bells. Okay. And then I like really hone in on the sound. And yeah, just I appreciate you following me, and anybody following me at Dan Barracuda. And yeah, that's it. It's really great to chat with you and just talk music.
Yeah. I had a really nice time. Thanks for passing through. And I'll put all of those links and stuff in the show notes so people could find them. And I just wanted to thank you again for sharing your stories and your passion and for the work that you do. And yeah, I think it's a great service to music, and it makes Instagram a better place, I think, and all the places that it exists.
Man.
So yeah, thank you for what you do, and thank you for passing through.
Thank you, man. One last thing, as you were talking, I just remembered. See, I'm like blanking out sometimes. Sometimes when I get asked a question, I like blank out. But Danzon Brothers is a project that I'm in right now with my good friend Dan Weeks, and it's very cool. It's like largely instrumental, but sometimes we feature like Spanish singers, and I play Spanish guitar, charango, acoustic, and electric, and he plays like a rubber guitar, and he's amazing with percussion, and he's based in London, and it's a really cool duo we have going on, and it's called Danzon Brothers. I feel like you would like it. It's very good, like just travel and just like desert kind of music, and it's largely instrumental, like I said, and the charango is like a Bolivian instrument that I got. And it sounds like very golden, and I love just like we love layering like guitar sounds, and I kind of mix. He helps with the mixing too, and he's just an amazing producer. And that's called Danzon Brothers. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds great. But what is a rubber guitar? I don't think I've heard this before.
It's called a rubber bridge guitar, and it's just such a nice sound. Most Danzon Brothers songs start with that sound. So if you hit any song, like that's like the first thing you hear is usually the rubber bridge guitar.
Okay,
yeah, it's
cool.
just a really nice, like thumpy, kind of like smooth, warm sound.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. I'll check that out and put the links to that in the show notes as well. I'm excited to listen to it. That's what I'm going to do tonight after we're done here.
Nice. Appreciate that, man. Thanks so much for having me, Danny.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Dan. It was a pleasure, and I hope to do it again one day.
Yeah. Take care, man.
You too. Thank you for passing through today. Yeah, you, dear listener. Thank you for your support, for your attention, for spending some time with me and this episode's guest. If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe, rate it, like it, tell your friends about it, buy a billboard somewhere next to a highway promoting it. I mean, I'm kidding, of course, but your support really does mean a lot to me. So thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next time.